All right, Andrew, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, welcome. Welcome to Set Real Talk Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. Okay, everybody, come on in. Let us know you're here. Say hello. Welcome to Set Real Talk Tuesday. I have Andrew Hawkins, former NFL player. You played for the Browns, the Bengals, and the Patriots.
Yep.
And you're now retired, now
Yes.
working for ESPN
Uh-huh.
and doing some major things. So, guys, I wanted to have Andrew join us, and thank you again. We're going to give everybody a second to come on board. Where are you now while we're waiting on some people to join us?
I'm actually still in Cleveland.
Okay. So are you making Cleveland home?
For the time being, I'm in Cleveland. Just because it was easy. My family's still here, and we kind of never transitioned out. So until I have to make the move here soon, I'm gonna call Cleveland home for the time.
Okay. So where do you see yourself being?
I don't know. I go where the opportunities are. So I can see New York is a good place for media and business, and LA obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the easy choices, but I want to be in Florida, to be honest. I need the sun.
Yes.
I need sun in my life.
Understandable. I live in Florida. I'm partial LA though.
Yeah.
So I went to Pepperdine. So I'm LA. I love it.
Yes, me too.
Guys, are you there? Hey, we see you. Thank you for joining us for Set Real Talk Tuesday. I have Andrew Hawkins here. He is joining us. He's going to share with us tonight going into the NFL undrafted to playing, being team captain, leadership in the NFL, to going to Columbia University, 4.0 GPA, graduating, signed by the Patriots, abruptly retiring. Now you're thinking about getting your PhD. We got to hear what you have going on. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It sounds a lot cooler when you say it than when it's in my head. But
it is awesome. Guys, tag somebody, tag the young athletes that need to hear from Andrew Hawkins. You guys, the wives, the moms that have sons that are playing this game, that are thinking about, post-retirement and what's next. And then, CTE. Is it inevitable for the NFL players? Questions we got. All right, so here we have Andrew Hawkins, former Bengals player. He played with the Browns, and he was signed to the New England Patriots and retired. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a small town called Johnstown, Pennsylvania. There's like 25,000 people there. It's an old steel mill town, a lot of factories, love football. So that's my hometown.
So you grew up there. I heard that you looked up to your older brother who played in the NFL.
No. So I was young. My older brother, Artrell, he's 10 years older than me. And I have two other brothers, Avery and Wayne, who are closer in age. They're both within 2 years of me. And we all played football. All of us played football. And a lot of that, most of it was in part because he was a football player. So I always say, if he would have been a truck driver, we probably would have been truck drivers too, because we looked up to him so much. So he played 10 years in the NFL, 6 for the Bengals, 1 for the Panthers, and 3 for the Patriots.
Nice.
Yeah.
Guys, come on, join us, Set Real Talk Tuesday. I'm hearing you and the importance of having siblings and looking up to them, or in this case, guys, you just never know the impact that an older sibling can have on that younger sibling. And for you, you're taking it all the way into the NFL, following in your brother's footsteps. But did you know you would be in the NFL?
Early on, I thought I was, like every kid does. Every kid that plays football, I feel like, always has that dream of, scoring winning touchdowns or whatever. And having a person so close to me be able to tangibly show that process, or
the possibility,
reach that, that height, it was incredible for me. So, that's how I set out. Now, I'm a little shorter than him. I'm 5'7", and I was kind of always the afterthought because he was always Mr. Everything, right? He was all state. He was, he was first team all conference. He has all the school records. And I think everybody kind of looked at me where I'm from as just, oh, that's his little brother. And most of them counted me out. So it made it easier for me to, as I got older, hearing no, so much and hearing haters all the time, I became immune to it. And that honestly still helps me today because, you know, everyone will tell you what you can't do. That's what people do. When they hear something, and because they can't do it, they try to put that doubt on you. And from my life story, from how I got to where I am, I had never put any credence on what anybody else says. So if I think I can do something, then it's fact, you know, and it's honestly, it's what helped guide me today still.
Wow. Guys, that's a word right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can hear the admiration that you have for your older brother. And just those of you guys that are watching us that have just joined for Set Real Talk Tuesday, I am joined by Andrew Hawkins. He's talking about, you know, growing up, you got counted out. A lot of times people discredited you. In a sense, it sounds like you were the underdog. And you were able to just, that saying, the cream always rises to the top.
Mm-hmm.
So you were able to rise. So, I mean, give us some examples. You grew up in Pennsylvania, ended up in Toledo, University of Toledo. What made you go there?
I mean, first off, it was one of my only offers. So actually, my senior year, I didn't get any scholarship. So my senior year, I broke my ankle like halfway through, and all the schools were telling me like, yo, you know, you're not quite big enough, you're not quite fast enough, you're not quite this enough, whatever. And I had a couple opportunities to go to some 1AA schools, which were good academic schools, but, you know, I was fixated on going to the NFL. Like that was like the end all be all for me at that time. So I'm like, yo, I got to play Division I football. So I enrolled into a prep school. Long story short, I went to a camp. I balled out at the camp. This is June of my senior year. And I got 3 scholarship offers, one from Ohio University, one from Akron, and one from Toledo. And the Toledo one, actually, I had to pay my first semester of school. So technically my scholarship didn't even start till January, but they were the best program, and that's how I ended up in Toledo.
So, I mean, it's like no matter what, you knew, you had in your head what it was that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you were moving toward it.
Right. I mean, it's like this. I mean, anytime you want to do something, anytime you set out for a goal or you aspire to be in a certain position, there's like, my philosophy is always, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure I can. Like somebody telling me I can't do it isn't enough for me. You know, and even me failing 15 times, that's not enough. If there's still 3 more different ways I can do this, then that's not enough. I need every out. So that's what I did to get to my college scholarship. And to be honest, me at 17, 18 years old, it gave me a formula again that I still use to this day, that a no isn't enough. Someone saying they can't do something or I can't do it isn't enough. I'm going to figure it out until there's absolutely all avenues are exhausted. And like I said, that's how I've accomplished most of what I've accomplished so far.
Guys, are you hearing this? No may not mean no. It's just a closer to your yes, right? Keep going, exhaust all opportunities to make it happen. I love it. So, okay, you're in Toledo. You're finishing up. So you end up in the NFL, though. You weren't drafted, free agent.
Nope. Mm-hmm.
So how did that happen?
So after I got done with Toledo, and my Toledo career was just okay. You know, I mean, the reality of football is everybody wants the 6'5", 4'2", 240 receiver, and that wasn't me. I was fast, I was quick, but I'm not the biggest guy. So I didn't, even in college, like my professional career was 3 times as good as my college career. Mm-hmm. You know, my college career was better than my high school career. You know, so either I got better with age or, you know, people finally started giving me my opportunities, right? So when I got done, I didn't get any scout. I didn't have, an agent. I tried out for the Arena League. I tried out for the CFL, nothing. You know, I had an old coach who got like a lower position with the Browns, so they gave me a workout based off of that, and nothing came of that. You know, and even to get my agent, I sent a fake email acting like I was a coach, raving about this 5'7" receiver who was so fast, and he fell for it. But I had emailed 100 agents, and he's the only one who wrote back. So that's how I got my agent, and I spent the year off. So I didn't get picked up, man. I was working in a factory. I was working as a caddy. I was sleeping on a friend's couch, and I had the laundry room with all my clothes. Like on top of the dresser was my closet. So I was doing that, coaching. Went back to Toledo to finish my degree, and was coaching the wide receivers. And I started moving on with life. And I always wanted to be a general manager. So I ended up getting an internship with the Lions as a scout, and I was scouting at the Detroit Lions. And as I was in there, I was like in the computer one day looking at old reports. So I'm like, well, let me check out the reports on, me when I was at Toledo, and I wasn't in the system. So come to find out, the coaches never put me on the list of guys for the scouts to say these guys are good enough to get a look in the NFL. So at that point, I realized, I never got a real shot. So from then on, I left there. They offered me an opportunity to stay a scout with them, but I was like so discouraged by that, but also motivated, like, oh, that's why I didn't get to the league, kind of thing, right? So I turned it down, went back to working out. As luck would have it, Michael Irvin came out with a reality show called 4th and Long, where he took 12 guys off the street and gave them the opportunity to play for the Cowboys. I went and did that, killed the show. I didn't win. I should have. But again, he was like, and Michael Irvin will tell you, like, he couldn't send a 5'7" receiver to the Cowboys from a reality show, but luckily I got a contract in Canada. So after that year of sitting out of football, I got to Canada, played in Canada 2 seasons, won 2 championships, and that's how I got my NFL workouts.
So so 4th and Long, I heard you did a little something in a George Clooney movie.
Yeah, I was an extra. I was an extra in the Ides of March with George Clooney and Ryan Gosling. Me and my brother actually both were. He got a lot more FaceTime than I did. My scene, you can't even tell I'm a human. So, but technically I was in the movie. That's all that counts.
So, I mean, this is just a lot of commitment that you had, determination. Guys, tag somebody that needs to hear this. Moms that are watching, we got so many female sports fans. That is our niche here.
Yeah.
Women that love sports. And a lot of the women that love sports are moms, raising young men that may want to go to college and that have aspirations. They're aspiring to be in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And, the statistics show that not everyone's going to make it.
Right.
And your story is letting us know that it's just not the conventional way that people get to the league.
Yeah.
But you still, not only did you get there, but you ended up being team captain.
Yeah.
Had, tremendous leadership on the team. So who mentored you? I mean, did you have a mentor? What was it that made you, step into this leadership that you had?
I felt like, sometimes, I mean, I have mentors. Obviously, like I said, my brother, he was huge in my development as a player, as a person, and just being able to get the experience. And sometimes I'm the kind of person, I'm like this. If I'm around you, or if I know you and you tell me something like, hey, don't do X, Y, Z because this is what happens. Mm-hmm. I don't have to go through it myself. And not everybody's like that, but that's just my personality. Like, I don't want to make the same mistakes somebody else. And also, I like to learn from other people's mistakes. So besides the fact him mentoring me, he would also tell me, like, hey, I did this wrong. You should do it this way. And that was all that it took. And that's what I did. And, so he was a huge mentor. My mom, who was my number one supporter. And, at times when I was sleeping on the couch and I was saying I was going to the NFL and everybody else in the world was telling me I was crazy and I was wasting my time and I need to go get a job and I was a grown-up now and I need to do X, Y, and Z. She was the one that was like, hey, you can do this. Her, my stepfather, like, and without that, and that's not technically a mentor, besides the fact they instilled everything in me, it's more of like, I like to say I'm so confident in myself.
You're learning from watching, and then not just learning from watching, but that kid that doesn't have to touch the stove. It's hot.
Exactly.
You don't have to touch it.
Exactly. So that's huge for me.
Guys, first off, I'm hearing you say that just watching what people are doing, having family, the support of your family, your brother being able to guide you, but moms, believing in your children, their dreams, not discrediting it, and allowing them to know that if there's a will, there's a way. So while you're sleeping on the couch at 5'7", not sure that you were certain that you were going to the NFL, but had people around you that were like, okay, this boy is living on a prayer.
Yeah.
And you made it. Team captain. And then we see you step out on the field with a protest shirt on. Long before people were kneeling.
Yeah.
Guys, he came out on the field. This is 2014, playing for the Cleveland Browns. And you're wearing a shirt, and it says justice for Tamir Rice and for John Crawford.
Yep.
What made you do that?
I mean, at the time, now obviously the conversation was kind of brewing. This is like post Trayvon Martin. It might have been right after Eric Gardner, the I Can't Breathe. And, anytime these things happen, and obviously we're in the age of social media and access, you get all this stuff, and it's like people discredit or say, oh, this shouldn't happen, or if he didn't do this or whatever. That resonated with me strongly, especially the Tamir Rice one, because Tamir was 12 years old, and he was playing with the BB gun in the park, and someone called and obviously said that he was a threat. Police roll up, shoot him dead. John Crawford was on the phone with his girlfriend, and he was holding a BB gun. He got off the shelf at Walmart. And without notice, people, they barged in, shot him dead. And those, like, seeing the videos, it brought up so many emotions in me, because I can remember being 12 years old and my mother telling me that I wasn't allowed to have BB guns. So we lived, I went to a private school. My mom was a hard worker. She worked a double shift. We didn't have much of anything at all, right? Like, you ain't allowed to get this, get that, because we don't have it. We have so many kids in the house. She's working double shift to try to give us a better opportunity at private school. And all my friends there would have these BB guns. And I'm like, oh, man, that's what I want. And she's like, you can't play with BB guns because someone's going to feel threatened by you. I'm 11 years old, 12 years old, and someone will shoot you because they'll think it's real, right? And I couldn't understand it at the time. So then seeing this visual of Tamir, it brought those emotions back, and I can remember those conversations. And more than that, it's like, I went through so much to accomplish my dream as an NFL player, and I always felt like that God didn't put me in that position just for myself. Like, that's not – he doesn't do anything. So I would always promise, like, God, if you do this for me, I'll do whatever you ask. And at this time, this is what I thought God was asking me to do, is to, make a statement, use my platform for other people that can benefit from it that aren't me. You know what I'm saying? And it was scary. I was scared as hell. But it was the right thing to do. And even afterwards, when the firestorm came, I was just proud of myself to be able to, stare that down and be like, no, I know this is what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to go through with it. And even today is the proudest moment of my entire life, to be honest.
So when you say firestorm, for those of you guys that are just joining us for Set Real Talk Tuesday, I have Andrew Hawkins. He is joining us. He's a former NFL player. We're talking about an instance where you walked slowly onto the field with a T-shirt on top of your jersey. So prior to the game starting, the coin toss, you were protesting, just taking a stand for justice. And when he says firestorm, what happened was you were criticized. The head of police, and what else did you experience as far as criticism when you say firestorm?
Yeah, I mean, it was, besides the criticism, there was, media, there was demanding apologies, there were fans and people who watched the story who, they call you stupid, to stay in your place. I got death threats, I got hate mail. I mean, you name it. I mean, it was all a part of it, and that's fine. Like, and that's, see, I think things through, and I understood that was going to be a part of it. So that wasn't anything that surprised me whatsoever. So I felt like I was ready for it. And like I said, I'm glad I did it. It was to think about that now in the climate we are today, with not only the NFL players protesting and speaking out on social injustice in general. It seems crazy that just 3 years ago that was such a huge deal, because when I had the press conference about it and speaking out about it at length, it was just no one had done it yet, and so it just felt like you were out there on an island.
So when you say that people criticized and said that you should have stayed in your place.
Right.
How do you feel when you hear, fans or, different people in the media saying that that athletes should just stay in their place? Meaning, just be an athlete, just go out there on the field and play the game. Stay in your place.
Well, I don't think, and this was my pushback, being an athlete doesn't, exclude you from being an American. Being an athlete doesn't exclude you from being a human being that should be able to empathize with other situations. Being an athlete doesn't excommunicate you from your community and what you grew up in. It doesn't make you forget, the things that you've seen and the people you're around, the people you're affected by. You know what I mean? You ask about influence, and my sisters. I have two sisters who are, incredibly strong Black women, who are two of my best friends, and we talk at length, our entire lives about this, because this isn't just isolated. People think because you make money, because you are in a different position than what you were, that it's almost like, a way to buy you off from caring about what you come from or knowing the things that you know, and that's not it. Like I feel like it should be the opposite. So that's why I applaud players who are so passionate about it that they get in the situation, they get the opportunity to use their platform to affect the people that, you know, the communities that they come from. That's powerful stuff, you know. So when I got the backlash, I mean, it just is what it is, you know. Eventually, honestly, after I spoke about it and I went at length, and the people in support started to outweigh, you know, the backlash, and that's all I care about. I care about the people who understand, who come from, you know, those situations and see, okay, man, this is somebody that was speaking up on our behalf when nobody else would do it. I mean, that's all I care about. The people who don't care about it, people that hate, they're going to hate anyway. Like, that's the thing about people who are filled with hate. It doesn't matter what you do. They're going to find some other reason to hate you for. You know what I mean? So you can't give them any credence. You can't give them any spotlight. You can't give them any thought.
So, I mean, for what it's worth, I was very proud of you.
Yeah.
Just for standing up, looking, I mean, could have been my son.
Right.
Or my brother in a state that you have the right to carry.
Right.
However, he's on a playground, you know? So it to me, it just was devastating to see that. And to see you step on the field and in all of your confidence and stride. And I mean, it was just, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Seriously.
So now, I mean, you've taken a stand. You went on from the NFL. You got your master's degree at Columbia.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do that from University of Toledo into sports management? Not only did you get your master's degree, but you had a 4.0 GPA.
Yeah. Yeah.
So guys, he rocked the mortarboard. So when you say cap and gown, it said you're just as fast as you are smart.
Right.
I mean, how did all that transpire? You know, I heard you had a sister that went to Northwestern.
Yes. So I have a sister who is, you know, she's brilliant. She's a Northwestern graduate. And, you know, I mean, it was like this, like sports in general, and this is how I view it. This is what I always tell other kids or other athletes in the situation. You know, it started out with me thinking that football was the end all be all, right? And like I said, I passed up on universities who were better than Toledo academically. Now, I love Toledo, don't get me wrong, and I'm so proud of my degree and my time there. But my just thought process of why I picked Toledo was backwards in my mind. But so me going back to school, me using that opportunity is I wanted to maximize the experience of an NFL player, right? To be honest,
backwards. Let me just give some clarity. So for the people that are watching us, when you say backwards, at the time you just wanted to go to a school that was Division I,
right?
So that you could play and be noticed. You weren't thinking, you know, academically, I can graduate here and my degree will hold weight. Coming from a private school.
Right.
Okay. So just to give some clarity.
No, for sure. And it's like, you know, Toledo was a great football program, and my thought process was just NFL. Now, I'm not saying you can't aspire to go to the NFL. That's an incredible goal. But the reality is the average, even if you make it there, it's 2 or 3 years. And even if you last a long time, 10, 15, a Google search will tell you that those guys still have the same problems as the guys that never went to the NFL. So, you know, more than anything with me, it was kind of like, okay, I don't want to wrap myself to be just an NFL player, number one. And number two, I don't want to lose this opportunity because, to be honest, that was like for someone who has never gotten the respect I felt I deserve or even gotten, you know, wasn't a guy that people looked up to or said, oh, he's the next best thing. When I got to the NFL, all that conversation switched. And then I was everybody's and people calling for tickets and people wanting to meet you. And it's like, okay, here I am with this opportunity that people want to shake my hand or I want to take advantage. So I wanted to maximize my time. I wanted to use football as my vehicle to push forward. So I went back to school. I used my off seasons to get my master's degree. I would do internships. You know, if somebody of importance was like, hey, let's have lunch, I'm flying across the country just to have lunch with them. I'm flying home because I understand when I get done, it's going to be a little harder to get people on the phone. Once you retire, once you're on that side of the fence, and I learned this from the foresight of having my brother 10 years in front of me, it was like, okay, people don't pick up the phone as quick. The emails don't come back as fast. No, the articles don't get written anymore about what you're doing and covering you. And, you know, so it was me like, okay, I want to use this opportunity while I have it to maximize it. That way, when I'm done, I can set myself up as a guy that continue to follow and continue that momentum. And that was my formula.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So now. Uh-oh, I hear some. Can you hear echoing? That was strange.
I don't know.
Guys, I'm sorry we had a little echoing. You use your off season to go back to school. A lot of the guys are using off season to travel, to chill. You were working. And then, I mean, you decided that after signing with the Patriots, you were going to retire. So I say it was abrupt.
Yeah.
But you knew that was coming. Tell us what made you decide to do that. And some people think, I mean, you had so much more in you. You could have been still playing.
Yeah, I like to think I could still probably go out there and play. You know, but it's like I said, my goal was never to have a 15-year career. My goal was never to win Super Bowls. My goal was never to be a Pro Bowler. You know, because I was at a point where when you hear what you can't do so much, I'm human. It affects me. Not to say that I took it and believed it, but my goal was to play one game. If I got one NFL game, I can tell everybody they were wrong. I can say I accomplished my dream.
Because you made it to the NFL.
You know, and it was like, that was cool. So after I got one game, you know, everything else was icing on the cake. And literally from that day forward, I started working on my plan to get out, right? And it just ended up lasting 7 years. And by the time I got to the Patriots, you know, my knee was bothering me. I had some concussions in my career, you know, and I was just at the point where there was so much going on off the field that I was excited about. And more than anything, and this is number one, you know, I have 3 beautiful kids and a wife, and it was like, you know, I'd rather be stress-free and play with my son, play football in the basement, or, you know, go hang out with the girls and not be stressing for 7 months of the year, 8 months of the year about football. And it was just, from that standpoint, it just made an easy decision. And you know, like I said, I'm happy I moved on, and you know, it's time for the next challenge.
And you moved on in such a classy way, writing letters to the teams, and I mean, it was just great to see. So now, what is the biggest difference from playing in the NFL? Now you're able to be at home with your kids. Like you said, you don't have to worry about that. What is like the most exciting thing you do in your day that you weren't able to do before?
You know, I do a lot. Yeah, I got a lot going on. You know, so I'm able to travel and take meetings, and it's like I'm still up in the setup phase. I have so many cool opportunities that I'm working on. You know, being able to execute, it's a new challenge, right? It's like it feels like I reset back to when I came out of college, and I have to come up with this plan to move forward. But yeah, I mean, the coolest part is hanging with my kids. If I'm being completely honest, that's the most exciting part to me.
Love it. So, and I told you that I wanted to ask you some questions. For those of you guys that are joining us, this is Andrew Hawkins, former NFL player. Now you're an ESPN analyst. What are you doing? Snapchat. So if we wanted to follow you on Snap, where will we go?
Follow me on Snap, Hawk ESPN, HAWK ESPN. I'm new. I'm just figuring it out. So
Hawk ESPN. So what are you doing? I mean, this is a new social media, you know, craze.
Right.
Taking it to Snapchat.
Yeah. So I started doing, you know, content on my Instagram like last month. Like it was like, okay, if I'm going to do the media thing, I want to do it my way. I want to show my personality, you know, tell jokes. That's like kind of who I am. So I started doing that. And from that, a bunch of opportunities came. And one of the first ones was ESPN. They kind of took their SportsCenter show, which is the mainstay of their programming, and they were doing a new show on Snapchat trying to appeal to that demographic and trying to follow where the users are now. And that's how content is kind of consumed. So they seen me on Instagram, and they were like, hey, you'd be perfect as a host. So they added me as a host on SportsCenter. So I host SportsCenter on Snapchat a couple of days out the week, and it's super cool, man. It's like a dream come true. I always watched SportsCenter as a kid. So to be one of the guys that's like, you know, spitting out the sports news is awesome for me.
Nice. So, guys, we want to check out Andrew Hawkins on Snapchat,
Yeah.
Hawk ESPN.
Uh-huh.
And, we'll be entertained, see what you got going on.
There you go.
So, quickly though, Set just released our annual weddings edition.
Uh-huh.
So, you mentioned your wife, your kids.
Mm-hmm.
For our audience, tell us maybe, first off, how long have you been married?
I've been married going on 4 years.
Okay.
And I've been with my wife for 11 years.
So where'd you guys meet?
We met at school. We both went to the University of Toledo.
Okay, so you met at school. Did you just know when you saw her she was the one?
I had a really good feeling. I just knew. I mean, after one conversation, and I don't like to waste time. That's just my personality. So I'm not getting to know relationships that, we ain't in it for the long haul. That's just how I am. Mm-hmm. So I had a really good feeling that she was the one.
She is the one. Okay, so married 4 years, met in college, 3 children. Can you tell us, because we just released our Set Weddings edition, and we want these I do's to last, what is some advice that you can give to the married audience, our viewers? And I know you may not like to give advice, but what can you share? Because you got a little experience here.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like, and this might be cliche, but marriage is like a selfless, relationship, right? Like, so if either part is in there and you're like, you don't have the common goals, then it's going to be tough, right? And that's where I think me and my wife gel, is that we have the common goals, right? And it's like, being able to say that's my best friend, and understanding that at her core, she's a good person, right? And that's huge for me, is because when things go wrong, a good person isn't going to deviate from being a good person, and it's like you have the same person. So understanding that floor, whenever we get into our riffs or whatever that situation looks like, we understand that both of us have the right thing at heart. And, being able to do that, she's an incredible mother, man. I wouldn't be able to do anything that I do without her, because of what she does as a wife, as a mother. And she's really my backbone. Like, honestly, like, all the things that you talked about that I'm able to do would be impossible without her, to be real. And, she means a lot to me. She means everything to me.
Love it. So guys that are watching, that are in a relationship, just being able to know your spouse's heart, knowing that at their core, they have what is best for you, that's their best intention. And really being able to know that you are with your best friend. And if you're not, then you're going to have an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And there's no perfect formula. It's like every relationship is different, but you just got to know, like, depending on your personalities, the work changes, and whatever that work is. And it's not like work in a bad way. It's working to be active and making sure that you're trying to build a healthy relationship. So it just isn't a perfect formula to it.
Yes, love it. So you guys, if you're listening, take a moment. No two relationships are the same, but there are some nuggets that you can gather as you're watching people that have made it over the year mark, the 2-year mark. Now you're coming up on 5 years.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for joining us for Set Real Talk Tuesday.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
So guys, comment, let us know your thoughts. If you're going to follow Andrew Hawkins on social media, where can we find you at Hawk?
At Hawk platforms? On Instagram, at Hawk, on Twitter, at Hawk, on Facebook.com/Hawk.
All right. He's Hawk, HAWK. And then on Snapchat, we can find you Hawk ESPN.
Right.
So you'll be entertaining us and giving us some sports news.
Yeah.
So we love it. So guys, this is Set Real Talk Tuesday. I'm Danisha Roll. I'm joined by Andrew Hawkins. Andrew, you are officially set. All right. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you at the same place, same time next week. Andrew, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Nisha.
My pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.